had mended the king's teapot and had grown up into a fine young man. He would not say he was exactly handsome, as in all the best stories, but despite his slightly gangly look, the girls in the village of Leapington all thought it worth their while to try and get him to dance when it came to the summer fair. After all, he was a knight. Peter was happy, but he knew there was more to the world than Leapington, and he wanted to see it all. I've heard there are giants, tall as the sky, a sea the colour of a dragon's eye. I've heard stories of lands where strange creatures fly. I must see it all. I must go and find them, I must see it all. To learn all the wonders, I must see it all. There's a place out there somewhere, can't you hear it call? I must, I must, I must see it all. There's places so dark, the sun never does shine. Precious stones that are dug in some deep dark mine. Lands where 'tis said the folks talk just in rhyme. I must see it all. I must go and find them. I must see it all. To learn all the wonders, I must see it all. There's a place out there somewhere, can't you hear it call? I must, I must, I must see it all. There's a land lands there are plenty, where I long to go, from the hottest of deserts to lands covered with snow. Millions of things that I long to know. I must see it all. I must go and find them. I must see it all. To learn all the wonders, I must see it all. There's a place out there somewhere, can't you hear me call? I must, I must, I must see it all. Sir Pot had been planning to leave Leapington for some time, and had been mending all the old pots and pans that had been left lying around by the old blacksmith. He hoped to sell these on his way to help with food and lodgings on his journey. One day, Sir Pot loaded himself with all the mended pots and pans and set off on a trip of discovery. He had wanted to leave Leapington quietly, but the crashing and banging that the pots made as he walked along soon brought the people of the village to their doors to see what the noise was. You can hear him coming from miles away with a bang and a crash and a jingle. Sir Pot is leaving Saucepan Hill. Goodbye. Good luck be with you. Peter's journeyed for many days, selling his pots, fixing others in exchange for food and a place to stay. Indeed, he did so many strange things and had many great adventures. One day, Sir Pot was lost. Or that's what it seemed. One moment he'd been walking along, making his normal bang and crash and jangle, and along a gentle winding path through some woods. The next moment the path had disappeared, and the woods had turned into a deep, dark forest. Sir Pot wandered around for hours, getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the forest, which had got darker and darker until the seams seemed to black out the sky. Suddenly he came upon a small clearing, in the middle of which stood a very sinister house. Now in all stories such houses are the homes of witches or some evil creature, and of course this one's no exception. When Sir Pot knocked on the door, it was opened by an aged witch. Not an exceptionally ugly witch, but a witch all the same. "Can you help me?" Sir Pot said. I seem to be lost." "What's it worth?" whinged the witch, "if I do help you?" "Well," said Sir Pot, "I have these pots and pans, and I'll gladly try and mend anything you have that's broken." The witch gave an ear-piercing cackle, as all witches know how to do. "Come in," she said. "I've a job for you." She led him to the dark cottage. The air smelt like bad eggs, and there were all kinds of pots and jars and strange shapes on every shelf, hanging from the beam as well. In a corner stood a very thin-looking billy goat. As they went through, the witch started singing. "I'm a witch. I'm a very good witch. I've spells for every ache and itch. I'll turn people into frogs, turn cats into dogs, turn village into bogs at a hitch. I'm a witch, Madeira the witch. I've no cat, that is the hitch. I've tried toads up to a stoat, now all I've got one is that I dote. It's a daft old billy goat, isn't that rich? She didn't sing very well, but at that point she gave the poor old billy goat such a whack with her broom that Sir Pot could swear he heard the goat's horns ring. "Excuse me, Madeira," said Sir Pot in his very best voice, "but did you say you had something for me to fix?" "Oh, yes," said the witch Madeira, stopping beating the poor old billy goat. "Come with me, boy." The witch took Sir Pot to the corner of the cottage, where stood a huge metal cauldron. "My #1 cauldron, big enough for cooking goats or boys," she added under her breath. "Mend it by tomorrow, and you'll go safely on your way. Fail, and you will see what I can cook in my #2 cauldron. To make sure you can't run away," said the witch, "I'll place you inside the #1 cauldron, as it's much too big for you to climb out, so you can't escape." So, with a wave of her broom, Sir Pot found himself inside the cauldron.